So I've got some diamond options that I'm testing here, and see how they do for us. And so I thought I'd show you. We've got an 80 grit there that's pretty darn coarse. The 270 even is more coarse than I want to go. I'm working with a 400 right now, and then I've got a 600 here. And I do have a 100 grit option that as well, but I'm going to have to get some knives that need more work. So what I'm trying to do right now is just get an edge. So with most pocket knives, you want to use the coarse stones to get to your edge first, and then just clean them up and refine them with the finer stones. And I know with this blade, I've got a little bit of a nick in the blade right up here. So I'm trying to work that out. So a lot of back and forth work here to get this going. Allows me to really test the diamond sharpening system here. And so we'll test that out, and hopefully before too long you guys will see diamond options available here. So I'm working on a ViperSharp, CRKT ViperSharp, and this is one of my EDC blades. I carry this one and a Ken Onion with me pretty much every day. A Kershaw Ken Onion. So they see plenty of abuse. I still feel like right there I've got a pretty severe nick that probably cutting into a staple on a box or something there, but really, yeah, it looks like my lock ring is getting a little loose. So we'll tighten that up. Make sure that's on there tight. And back here, I've got some new colors for possibilities on anodizing. I've talked to another company about that, so might be making a change on that. So take a look at that and let me know in the comments if you have a preference on anodizing color. Do you like any of those? So this is a blue. This one's kind of a purple, black, and a red. So with the diamond options right now, I have 80 grit, 100 grit, 270, and then 400 and 600. And the diamond really cuts into that metal. Really cuts into that metal. So I did start with some of the more coarse coarser grits, and they were leaving too deep striations for me. I didn't want to mess with it, so I've gone, because this blade doesn't need a lot of sharpening. It's got that one nick in it, but otherwise this blade is pretty sharp and does a good job for me, so I didn't want to totally destroy it and have to work on all of those striations and getting those out. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're sharpening. You only want to go as coarse as is needed with the blade, you know. And if you don't need a 100 grit stone or a 200 grit, then don't use it. And so that's actually looking pretty good there. I was gluing earlier, so I've got these gloves on. I don't normally sharpen with gloves on. All right, we're going to swap that out and do 600 and finalize this. And I'm just doing one direction at this point. And I don't think this side got as many of the striations with the coarser grits, because it actually looks fairly polished there. So we'll swap that over. And so this is a diamond system that I've been talking to a manufacturer on, and this is something made in Japan actually, and he's heading over there pretty soon, and we'll be there for a few weeks and looking into some options for me, and looking at other possible stone options. So it's still going to be a few weeks before I'll have these available, but I like it. I think it's a great option. It's going to work well. What he wants me to do is really work them and see if I can wear them out, and how much work it takes to wear them down completely. So we know if we need to change something on the recipe or make some adjustments. But gosh, this is just beautiful. I love how quick this works. We definitely have a lot of, I think this was the side that I was using with the coarser grits, and we have a lot of striations in the edge of the blade. I can see right down there that I'm trying to work out. So again, you know, if you've got a blade that doesn't need that much work, don't start with too coarse a grit, because you're just going to end up creating more work for yourself, because once you go over it with a real coarse grit, you've got a lot of striations to pull out of there, and you've got to do more work with the finer grits to clean that up. So what I'm doing here is just testing to see if I have any areas that catch. Do I need to work on a certain area of the blade? So I'm trying to really pay attention to how evenly that cuts, and honestly, I think we're doing pretty good here. So this This was marked as a 600 grit that I'm working with, diamond film, and it is really putting a polish on that blade. I've still got to find out what kind of the higher grits I can get, but see if we can show you that. You can see with the 600 diamond, it's polishing pretty good. So let's give it a few more strokes on this side. This one looks a lot rougher, but it's cutting pretty good. And again, I know some of you want to shave with your knives, and hey, if that's what you want to do, you can get it. I use my knives mostly for cutting open boxes and cutting cardboard, and I need it a little finer if I go fishing or hunting or something like that, but my EDC, as you can see, I don't shave very often, except maybe up here. Alright. Doesn't feel like it's catching anywhere. It feels like it's doing a pretty good job. So that probably okay, yep. That shaves pretty good. Not bad at all. So that's coming, guys. The diamond options, and I'm going to keep testing this to see what we can do with it, and make sure that it's working. But that's pretty sweet. That's exciting. So up and coming with ViperSharp.